I will present how to build the enterprise-ready AI. So basically, I think I will show like the demo application, how it looks, and after I will present how basically it was done. So this is like the demo application. So here we have like 3 tabs for now. So here is files, where you can upload the files. Here is the search, but basically it's like if you like want to check basically what the database returned. So let's say that I will here uploaded several CVs. So here it will return like all the chunks from database. I will explain a bit later what is chunks. So just for checking that this is like real information, and it will showing here what was the matching. And here, but basically this is the chat where you can like ask questions related to the documents that you uploaded, and yeah, it will kind of basically respond to your question. So here, let's say that who knows, let's say JavaScript, or like more than 10 years experience with JavaScript. So basically now it will search in the database. It's a bit different, of course, like the visual for the linking. So here basically is the chat. Here is the page, where I mean, like just like to understand where it was find this answer on the document. So I think yeah, it's a bit different, but of course I prepared a bit like so. It's usually on the demo. One second, I will. It's like I asked before. So like who has experience like more than 10 years, it will return the user, basically the who has this experience, yes. Here I also asked it like on which project does he work at. So here it's also like a return at the bunch of the projects. Yeah, and of course you can like ask these different questions. So but basically this is like the architecture pattern round, to which one I can like have several like yeah, to show it. Any questions on that?
Yeah, many. I can take them after. Like, how do you go to the source, for example?
Yeah, so but basically, so yeah, I will now have several slides how to build it. So here is like the core problems. Why to not just use ChatGPT for everything? So basically there are like 3 problems for that. So the first problem that the models are hallucinating. So it means that if the models doesn't know the answer, it invent the fact. Also the data is stale. It means that it knows only the data on which one it was trained. And of course it cannot access the private files. Yeah, so but basically for that, we use it on a project with the method called rett. So this is kind of an architecture pattern. So but basically here, it's kind of small description that instead of asking the LLM a question from memory, we first find the relevant information with our private documents. We give that to the LLM, and the relevant information asking it to generate the answer based on the provided context. So basically, this is like a RAG. If to think it a bit different, it's like it's a difference between a closed book memory test and open book exam, where the book is your own trusted up-to-date data. So but basically how the RAG is working. So first you ask a question. After that, the system is searching from the database for the text related to that questions. We take the text like a report, and here we basically and attach it to the questions, and the AI basically based on the questions and attach it response from database, it's generating the response. So this is like in several ways how it works in the RAG. So here we basically for in our case how we made the architecture. So we I think simplified. So so we used like Nest.js application and the UI was React with API, but basically also in the same application the Nest.js. For database we use Postgres. So Postgres also has like extension PGVector, which we enable. And for the models we use it like basically OpenAI. So one model was to embed the data, and one model like of course to generate the intelligence basically. This is the intelligence. So the next slide, how it works. So firstly, but basically yes, like before we can search, we have to index our files. So first here we are uploading the documents. After that, this document is parsed, is taken from this document the text. The texts are like chunked. So by basically here I'm described. So here, of course, like for better results, you should play around with this, like how big this chunk should be. I think for our case it was like around 200, so it was fine. So after that, the chunks is using this basically, which I described with this model, to make the embeddings, and these embeddings are stored in the database. And now how it works when you're asking some questions. So when you ask some question, this question is transformed again with this like with this model, this embedding model. After that, this embedding is sent to our database, and we are kind of trying to find relevant chunks with the closest. But basically, we are using this again, the extension in the Postgres. This is a PGVector, basically is doing this this search. Yeah, and of course we are sending the question and the result from the database to the LLM. So in this case, it will be we will use this model, like GPT-4.1 in our case it was. And and in the end we will get the result. So I think here is like the questions why we used Postgres and the PGVector. So for us, it was that the database, it's like everyone can knows Postgres. Of course, it's powerful, and I think it's also enough for us to scalable. Yeah, and it's secure basically. So for the models, basically I describe it. So we use like OpenAI with embeddings. So it was like text embeddings, and for generation we use like GPT-4.1. So, but basically, yeah, it's like what this architecture gives to us. So it's like kind of we can trust the answers. Like these answers like become more useful and interactive. And of course, it's like a simple stack. It's just Next.js, Postgres, and OpenAI. So this is like mostly all. Any questions? Yep.
Yeah, small question for me. First of all, thank you. It was really cool to see how it really looks in this beautiful UI. I have a question. What do you use for chunking itself? And what are chunk size do you like? Because before you create chunks and after that you convert them to vectors with some token lengths. So what is the chunk in there?
So basically for that I use it. It's if you know, it's very popular in the JavaScript work. I mean, of course, there are a bunch of them, but I use it the library also from Next.js. They have, I think it's AI, the lib name. Here, let me check it in the name. I mean, so that they have kind of this like by default functions to chunk, to transform embedding. You just should provide only on which model you want to use. That is kind of doing by yourself. So it have like different parameters there. But of course, you can do by yourself. Just like you are taking some, are splitting. If you have like big text, you are splitting by paragraph, let's say, also by the length of the charts and different. You can, but basically, yes, you can find a way which one will work more for you. And of course, it depends on which kind of data you have and you want to search.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think this project, I'm sure like Thomas, if you can send the link if you want to have a look also. Yeah, it's the name of the package is AI SDK. So you can just also search if you want.